Hey everybody, my name is Taylor Hazelton, and today I'm going to explain what bleed versus no bleed means. This is a very common question, and it's one that I had when I first started my KDP journey, and it's honestly not that complicated. It seems like it's really difficult, but it's not. So I'm just going to give a brief overview on what bleed and no bleed means and where and when that you would most likely want to use it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get started. So while you're uploading your book, when you're on the second tab, the paperback content, about halfway down the page is when you choose your trim size, bleed settings, your cover finish. So this is where it's really important to pick no bleed or bleed, depending on whatever type of book that you are uploading. If it is bleed, it has to be a PDF. It can't be a Word doc or any of the other options that they list down here. Bleed has to be PDF only. There are programs out there to convert it if you need to, or the best way is to just save your document as a PDF if you have the option. So I created some notebook pages just to use as examples. That way it was easier for you guys to see what the difference is. So this is an 8.5 by 11 simple lined notebook page, and this is with bleed. So as you can see, the lines go all the way through the entire paper. There isn't any place that it stops beforehand, and also the size is different. So the size for this one is 8.625 by 11.25. So for bleed, that means that it's printing beyond the margin. So although this is an 8.5 by 11 book, KDP would trim it to where the margins are, but since this is a notebook, we want those lines to go all the way across. So we have to create our document to be a little bit bigger, that way it still prints outside of the margins. And KDP has a really great tool to use. You can Google KDP margin, bleed, or anything like that, and it should pop up. If it doesn't, I'm also going to link it below. But as you can see, they have a table and tells you what sizes your pages need to be. So I'm doing 8.5 by 11. And this is the exact measurement that I need for this book, which is what I just said a few minutes ago. They also have some great visuals, which I'm going to show you guys as well. This is basically the same thing I'm showing you with the lined notebooks, except it shows you it with a photo and text, so it might be a little bit easier to see. So on the left is where your book will be during the final setup. So you see the margin lines here, and you can tell on the left-hand side, everything's inside the margins. On the right-hand side, the picture is across it. And on the right, it shows you how it'll look after it's printed. So if a customer orders your product, how it will look on the left with no bleed and on the right with bleed. So you can definitely see a major difference between how the photo is printed. So here is an example of a no bleed notebook. So as you can see, the lines wouldn't go all the way across. I just guessed how much it would be cut off. I didn't do exact measurements for this demonstration. I just wanted to give you all a visual so you could understand what it means to have bleed or to not have bleed in your notebook. So there would be white space on each side, and normally for notebooks you wouldn't want that. If for some reason you do, that's perfectly fine. We're all creating our own books and doing the best that we can. But if you're looking to have a traditional notebook where the lines go all the way across, then you're going to want to do bleed. That way it will look just like this. And for no bleed, your sizes are going to be different. So this is 8.5 by 11 because you want everything inside the margins. While you're doing the print preview, if you choose no bleed and you have something outside of the margins, usually Amazon will flag it and it won't always let you approve your work. So it's really important that if you're not looking to have bleed, to make sure that everything is inside the margins, and you can use guides to ensure that that's possible. And the print preview is a really great tool to see how your book would look if it was printed, so definitely pay attention to that and look through every single page and see if there's anything you would like to change. So for a basic summary of bleed versus no bleed, bleed means that everything outside of the margins will be printed. You have to have slightly larger interior file sizes, or the width and height have to be a little bit more. And you can find that by going to the Amazon page or doing the math yourself. For no bleed, it means that everything has to be inside the margin and nothing outside of the margin will be printed. No Bleed can have Word documents and other formats, where Bleed can be PDF only. I hope this really helps. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please comment them below. I love feedback. If you guys also have any new tutorials you would like, please let me know. I'm just doing videos on what I had questions on when I first started, because I really want to help you guys in your journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.